Hey guys, I'm Jess Paul, and this is a review of the album This Is War by 30 Seconds to Mars. So first of all, I would only consider myself a moderate 30 Seconds to Mars fan. Before this album, I had just their hits. And they've had already 2 albums before this one, and I only really knew The Kill and From Yesterday, pretty much. Turns out that I think this album is absolutely fantastic. The only reason I bought it was because Jared Leto tweeted that it was on sale at Amazon for $4. And I'm like, score! Kind of fell in love with the epicism that is this album. So I'm gonna go over each song, and then I'm gonna ask you what you think about the entire review and the album itself. Like I said, the word that I can use to describe this album is epic. And it helps to know that their producer is the same producer that produced the Killers albums and U2, stuff like that, so it kind of makes sense. About the entire theme and the title of the album, the band, since their last album, has been going through a lot of legal disputes and had been sued for some legal issues. The themes in this album kind of reflected what the band's been going through for a while now. The album starts out with Escape, which is this intense build-up. It's very short and it builds up into the next song. There's a chorus that resounds, This Is War, and it just gets you ready for the rest of this album. Night of the Hunter is one of my 3 favorite songs on this album. It's aggressive and fun at the same time, and I love the touch of the French voice, of the woman's French voice. It's really beautiful, and it kind of breaks up kind of Jared Leto's kind of emotasm. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Emotasm. Coining it. Right here, Rec Radio. Next is Kings and Queens, which is the single that was put out for this album. If you haven't seen the video for it yet, you pretty much can't complete your life. It's kind of a short film that involves a gang of bicyclers, like a range of personalities, all these different kinds of people, and it follows a storyline. Absolutely beautiful. They closed down a whole bridge and a whole a long stretch of road to do this video, and it's absolutely fantastic. You gotta see it. I'll put a link on this side. This Is War, like Kings and Queens, is so much of a battle song. You can imagine it in an epic movie where they're going into the sunset and they're going to either win or die, and you don't quite know yet. You know what I mean? Well, just listen to it. 100 Suns is kind of another part of this saga where it slows down incredibly and has the repeating line, I believe in nothing, with the chorus to back him up. Hurricane is alright, very similar. The edge is very similar to Kings and Queens and This Is War, where it's kind of like resounding like battle cry and victory. Vox Populi is probably my favorite song on the entire album. And if you're wondering, Vox Populi is Latin, translating into cry the people. Oh yeah, I did my research. I do friggin' research in school. But it's a track that heavily repeats this theme of battle, and it's the one that's most, you can actually see somebody going into battle over this. Now, I know that I said before that it seems like a lot of the reasons why they did an album about This Is War is because of the legal issues, but if you really look deeper into it, this can translate to anything that anybody is facing. And when you need some uplifting music that's still kind of aggressive and could be kind of dark, this album is amazing. Search and Destroy, I believe out of all of them, I mean, a lot of the tracks really showcase Jared Leto's just his raw screaming voice, which is really amazing and is a lot different from a lot of other singers. But this song especially, he just shouts out and he cries. Alibi is another one of the few slow songs that are on this album. Really on this album, when you compare the faster tempo songs and the slower tempo songs, it's really like the reverse emotions of somebody. In Vox Populi, it's more like they're in battle, and in a song like Alibi, it's kind of the aftermath, or the night before, or the night after. Stranger in a Strange Land is the 3rd of my 3 favorite songs on this album. It's more atmospheric. It has a lot of digital instruments in it, and like a lot of the other ones, like I said, Kings and Queens, This Is War, Vox Populi, they're kind of similar to each other. This one is very different from anything else on the album. It really sets itself apart. L490 is mostly instrumental. It's a great way to tie up the end of this album. At the end of this 4-minute song, you can actually hear monks chanting, and the only reason why I'm a little bit educated in this is because my friend recently did a project on Tibet and their war that's going on. So that was a beautiful way to end it. Favorite lyric? Actually, I've got two. One comes from Night the Hunter, and it goes, I was hung from the tree made of tongues of the weak. The branches were bones of liars and thieves. Rise up above it, high up above and see. The second one comes from Kings and Queens. We stole our new lives through blood and pain in defense of our dreams. My favorite epic song was Vox Populi, and my favorite slow song was Stranger in a Strange Land. Overall, guess what? Guess what? I'm gonna give this 5 stars, and this is why. I wasn't the biggest 30 Seconds to Mars fan, not that I disliked them, but I just didn't care, until this album. So they've not only, you know, reinforced a kind of fanaticism in me, they've actually created it. So, good job, guys. You guys go check out some of the tracks and tell me what you think about this album. Thanks for subscribing for a lot of awesome music reviews and Rec Radio news. I'm just Paul. Peace and out. Peace, love, rock and roll.